Yo, JD here, Limitless, and today, as you can see by the title, we are going to go against the 110 AI once again, and this is obviously after the patch, so the updated version of it, where there's been a few changes. Cars are a bit more realistic now, the lap time's a little bit more realistic, and I thought why not try this at the Hockenheim ring. Is it even called ring? It might just be even called Hockenheim. And we decided to go in the Red Bull just to make it as hard as possible, running the default setup, changing the brake pressure to 65. I've just changed it on, and oh wow, I don't think I even meant to do that. So yeah, we're not going to have any brakes here, and that's actually, I've only just realised that after just watching this right now as I'm editing this video. But we are on pole position in the Red Bull with Max Verstappen, trying to get a reasonable start. It's probably a decent start compared to normal, getting boxed in between the Mercedes and a Ferrari as well. And we changed our brake pressure to 65, which, as I said, I didn't even realise that. And I did feel when I was actually doing this video that why is the car not stopping? And I think after you've watched this, it's probably I think I'm actually quite happy with myself for how I actually performed this, considering that. But now we've got to try and fight off the Mercedes, off Lewis Hamilton, as I said, against 110 AI here. And braking here, the car is not wanting to stop at all, but that means we aren't locking up as much, getting a decent exit off here now. And around this track, you do need some stopping power, mainly into that main hairpin, but you can kind of get away with it around the rest of the track. I think when I was doing that setup there, for some reason, I was thinking that was a diff or something. I meant to change the diff down to 50. Not the brakes or anything at all, but again, trying to fight up for this Hamilton. We actually got a little bit too tight, and he's gone around the outside of me here. And we've got Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen's probably best friend at the moment, trying to go down the inside here. And when I was doing this race, in the last sector, the AI are just crazy fast. They're just ridiculously fast. Although we're in a Red Bull, which should have quite good downforce historically. And going through this turn one, we seem to be pretty decent. But it's just an acceleration out of that last corner, and just all the corners in the last sector in particular just seem to be quite a bit OP. As again, struggling to slow the car down, but Lewis Hamilton's already starting to get away, and now we've got the Ferrari right behind me, who should be very, very quick in a straight line. But when I was doing this, they weren't actually insanely fast in a straight line. I thought they would be much faster than that, particularly because the Red Bull has the reputation of being not that quick on a straight line. But you can see that little burst of acceleration that they get is just, yeah, it just keep get that little burst out of corners, and that's that's a theme I've kind of noticed throughout the whole time. But so far, keeping with the leaders fairly nicely. My goal now is just to try and stay in the DRS of Charles Leclerc. Going through the corners, got quite a lot of downforce going through here, but it's through this last sector here. You can see on the exit of this, they just go absolutely gone. And I don't know if it's because they constantly have ERS to use and stuff all the time. I'm not really too sure the reason, but particularly for that last corner, they are just very, very fast. Using hot lap to try and stay within the DRS zone now, and we've got Bottas behind and Vettel, and we've got a bit of a gap. I think it might be my teammate right behind Sebastian Vettel here, and we're just about in the DRS zone. And let's see how quick this is going to be in a straight line. Putting it into overtake. Didn't change the fuel load or anything at the start of this race. Decided to just keep it on the complete bog standard. Thinking about going maybe round the outside, but we actually come under the attack from Valtteri Bottas as well. Always get quite a good exit off here. The AI don't seem to be that quick coming off this corner. As I said, it just seems to be mainly that last sector. Running no ERS and lean going through here now, which I feel definitely helps a little bit with retraction. I wouldn't really recommend going under 56 on the front brake bias really, because I find anything below that, particularly when you're running a setup, which I'm not here, when you're running a setup, the car's got to be a little bit more pointy than the default setup. I just find it just oversees a little bit too much in the corners. But again, struggling to kind of slow the car down, getting a good exit off here now. And now we've got the Mercedes right behind, and let's see how quickly we could try and catch Charles Leclerc in the straight, in which we do. But the Mercedes is actually going quicker, so they're going to go around the outside of him now, trying to make the move stick. Let's see if we can just do it like a Jensen Button and Vettel. We managed to just about do the move, but we still got Charles Leclerc on the inside. Lewis Hamilton's pretty much absolutely gone here, and us away from the rest of the field. I think it's only the Ferrari and Red Bulls together. Everyone else, I think that's the Sarah Point Racing team, they're quite a bit behind the race, but we've managed to secure the move into second place. We've got about a 2.3 second gap to Lewis Hamilton, and it's just a case of just trying to keep this behind. If I could get a podium here in a Red Bull round here where there's quite a lot of straights, I'd be reasonably happy with that. But the 100% AI or 110% AI, I feel they are difficult, but with time they're definitely beatable, especially with the setup I was running here as well, if I was running one. But we decided to go into the pits because undercuts seem to be quite OP in this game, and I really wanted to try and win this race. So let's see if we can try and get an undercut on Lewis Hamilton, as not all the cars gone past. We've got Kubica and then Russell behind him as well, and we come out fairly close to them, but we are actually going to catch them towards the end of the lap now, which is not good news because we're going to get held up in this last sector. And you can see one of the Mercedes is actually pitted already. I pushed very hard on this outlap to just try and maximise any time I could gain on Hamilton as much as possible, but going through this last corner we are getting held up now, trying to get a good exit off here. He's actually got DRS as well, which just makes my life a little bit more difficult. Banging wheels going into this turn one, managing to make the move stick, getting the DRS again. You can see Hamilton has come out, and I feel like we've gained a little bit of time. We'll be able to see going through this first sector here. I think because of the brakes, I was just carrying too much speed for that turn two, which really kind of compromised with the end of the straight. 2.4 seconds, although I think I lost about half a second or something for that, so we should have been a bit closer. Probably wouldn't have been close enough. And coming out the next lap is his teammate of Valtteri Bottas, and I think both Ferraris are pitting us, so both Ferraris have been really held. You can see how far behind they are now, and it should be a pretty straight fight between myself and Bottas for second place. And let's see how quickly he's going to gain him, because the Mercedes is absolutely rapid in a straight line. When I was racing him, he's going around the outside of me, trying to fight as much as possible, but just can't stop the car. Just keep on carrying too much speed into corners. There's nothing I could really do. I was doing everything I could without trying to lock up, but we managed to just about keep the position here. But Hamilton on lap 8, he's just gone, absolutely gone. And let me know your predictions for the Grand Prix this weekend, because this should be after qualifying when I'm releasing this, and hopefully I would like to see Ferrari win this weekend. But coming off this last corner again, look how quick the Mercedes is, and just doing the major cutback there. There's just a rocket ship coming there, and I think that's just a little bit artificial acceleration now. I don't think that is realistic. You certainly would not see that in real life at all. When there's this, you have to fight them off going into turn one. That's just how good their acceleration is. Although we weren't in ERS, I don't expect that acceleration to be good, as we're actually going 3 wide into the end of the hairpin now, as Vettel has actually overtaken Bottas, and we've got the teammate of Charles Leclerc actually coming up quite quickly behind as well, and he's actually overtaken both of us into this hairpin. And after doing this race, I was impressed, because I don't know how many changes they've done with this AI, but the AI definitely seemed to leave you more room, just seemed to be a bit more free-flowing, just a little bit more natural. I don't know if they've changed anything. I didn't really read the patch notes properly. All I read was that they just changed the car performances. Wasn't really looking into detail about the AI changes. I was really mainly just interested in that. But he just did both of us going to there, and there was no accident or anything at all. So I think the AI definitely starting to leave a little bit more room now, being a little bit more generous with you, but still very hard to keep behind, and they will go for moves. So I'm liking this AI so far, but you can see come off that corner, I've just lost so much time going across here, and I've just got to try and stay in this DRS zone. If I can't stay in this DRS zone, then I think I could be coming under threat from Charles Leclerc behind. We should be in the DRS zone here now, as we do, and let's see if we could just gain a little bit more time. And I was really hoping that they would actually start the battle. As I said before, Lewis Hamilton, I can't even see him anymore, only on the mini-map, and they're going side by side into the hairpin once again, just about stopping the car. Seem to always get a good acceleration off here. You can see don't really lose too much time. And I think maybe it's because the way they're harvesting their ERS, it seems maybe they're using hot lap in that last sector, and just to get a really good launch off the corner. I'm not quite sure how they do it, but go through this sector, seem to manage to just about keep up through here, but it's through this last sector now. Really trying to throw in the car. I was driving almost at my max here, a maximum I could do with this setup and everything, but it's coming off these corners. Let's see, you can see the distance is just can see it's just gone going through here. Throwing the car in, using every inch of the track and more going through here. Getting a little bit of understeer, but again, you can just visually see on the map, but I just don't understand how it is. But we're doing a 14.5 here, which is not a bad lap, but we've actually got the teammate of Charles Leclerc. He's actually trying to go round the outside, going to turn 2, and he actually makes the move stick, getting the inside for turn 3, and it's going to be another head-to-head here, but I'm actually out of the DRS zone, so I'm really kind of relying them to really start holding each other up, which they are. He's overtaking him, and I think Vettel's going to go around the outside of him once again. So the AI, I'm actually really impressed with this racing so far. Much better than what I've ever seen, what I've ever raced against before. And this is definitely the most enjoyable race, although I'm not directly in the battle. Definitely the most enjoyable race that I've done against this AI before. As Vettel's gone down the inside once again, and Bottas, but Bottas is holding it around the outside, and that's actually allowed me to close back in. But now we've got Charles Leclerc. I think he's probably just outside my DRS zone, so I'm still safe with 5 laps to go here. There's no other car in sight behind him, and it's just basically us 4 battling for second place in this race. And now we're right up behind once again of Valtteri Bottas, always getting good launch. As I said, don't even have to use any ERS. I'm just using that as an example. You don't need to use any ERS here, which makes me think they're definitely using their ERS in the last sector. But for me, as I said, I don't know if they have more supply of ERS or something at all, but for me, I'm really saving as much ERS as I can per lap. It's just so hard to save. I don't think you could ever constantly save above 80% and keep with this AI. I think it'd be literally almost impossible to do that, because even under braking, you're not really saving that much because there's not really that much braking. And since my brakes are not really set to high pressure, I know in the previous game that made a difference. On this, I'm not really actually doing that much braking, so it's going to be very, very hard. Going for this turn 1, 7th gear, trying to keep within the limits of the track, just about staying in the DRS zone once again. But Charles Leclerc is definitely within the DRS zone of me now. And again, just hoping that they start by actually losing the car ever so slightly, and that could be crucial for me to try and fight for this podium. But we've still got the DRS zone. And again, just hoping that they start to go side by side, which looks like they're kind of just about, I think, a little half the fend from Vettel, which again, pretty impressive that he's actually not taking the full race line. He actually detected that Bottas was there. But again, getting a good exit off here and going on to the end of lap 13, pushing so hard now to just try and save him. Still just about in the DRS, using hot lap here. As he's going down the inside of Vettel here. I almost lose the car on the exit as well. And wow, I can't believe I've actually seen Bottas go down the inside of Vettel going into turn 1 here. And here's just a replay of me just showing that I do have still some reflex skills still within me. Although some people have said I'm previously in league races, I just have the reflex skills of the Nan apparently. So that's just proving that I still have something left within me, even after all these years of playing this game. But defending very, very hard from Charles Leclerc now. And again, side by side, every single lap going to here. And I was more enjoying the race that was going on in front of me than me actually driving myself. And I'm just really desperate now. If I could just get a podium in this car, I'd be so happy. But again, just can't seem to get as good launch of these guys off the corner as much as possible. We've got Charles Leclerc, who we're actually we're having to start to defend from now, which is making my life a little bit difficult. So go right to the inside. He goes to the outside, and let's see who's going to be later in the brakes. I'm just a little bit later in the brakes, trying to stop the car. Don't leave him any room on the exit, which what he did at Austria on the second to last lap, or one of the last laps. But Bottas is starting to fall a little bit behind Vettel now, coming across to start the last lap of the race. We are not in the DRS zone. Valtteri Bottas, that's a 13.4 as the quickest lap, so he's actually re-overtaken Sebastian Vettel. And we've got a little buffer behind to Charles Leclerc. And as I said, no other car in sight. We are just so far ahead of all the other cars, which makes you think if you're not in a Red Bull, if you're in a car less than a Red Bull, like a McLaren, I don't think there's any chance that you're going to be keeping with this 110 AI. So the AI is still very, very strong competitive. But I feel with a setup, if you're in a Ferrari Mercedes, I don't think it'd be comfortable to beat them, but I think they're definitely beatable. So coming across the last corner now, we're going to come home in 4th place in this Grand Prix. I hope you enjoyed this battling. I really enjoyed the AI battling in this. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully you enjoyed the Grand Prix. Show me your predictions down below, and I will catch you soon. Peace.